Atekerioga. My name is Apio Consolate Okiror, Auriat Nukatakwi district, and today I bring to you the Ateso calendar, how we name months of the year in our language. And to my conscience, the people in the early Teso used to name the months of the year depending on the seasons, and they had a correlation with nature. The nature defined how these months were named. January in the Ateso calendar is known as Orara. It is known as Orara because in the month of January, trees shed off their leaves, and this is translated in Ateso Kwape Arara. The trees shed off their leaves and they are so open. It's a season for firewood collection. It's a season for firewood collection, and it actually sets the period of dry season. February is known as Omuk. Omuk because the trees are gaining back, like trees are getting refilled with leaves, and utasiki time mukor. Utasiki time mukor kadake sakwi. That's why it's known as Omuk. And in this season, farmers are actually preparing farmland, like farmers are actually clearing the bushes and stuff. March is known Kwape Okwang. Okwang is got from the Ateso word known as Ekwame, Ekwange. People are white as a result of the dust. It is dry, the sun is so hot, and so on. So that's why March is known Kwapenat Okwang. April is known as Odunge. In the months of April and May, that's the onset of the rain season. So in Odunge, this word is got from the word Aitudeng, like this is the process of setting, like putting off fire, Aitudengod. So that's why it's called Odunge, because the rains are promising and it is setting down the heat, the high temperatures that have been previously there in the months of March and February. That's why it's known Kwapenat Okwang. The months of, then we have May, which is known as Opedele. By this time, the farmers are actually, this is a period of early planting. The farmers have put down their foods to plant. Like farmers are now growing their crops, like the usual cash crops in Teso are millet, maize, granuts, cowpeas. So in this period, the farmers have actually put down the seeds. Early planting has started. And in the month of Opedele, which is May, the children are starving. The people are starving. The people have put down the seeds for planting and stuff. So everyone is starving. So Senito Situnga, Ipedelela Situnga. That's how that name was got, Opedele. Epedela Situnga Koike Sintunga Nani. That's why we have that month named as Opedele. And June, in June, now this is a period where the heavy rains have come. There's a lot going on. People are weeding. People utastunga belono ramu amisirine utasicha chap nespanola palolo umaruk, which is June. Dotomola palo, we have a usual delicacy in Teso known as emarikit, araibonat imaruk, araibonat asway. This is something that the Ateso would pick up. It would usually grow around anti-hills or fertile lands. So the Ateso would pick this emarukit and dry it, and it was used for spicing up other foods. Kwapenat emalakan nyaltaikedi maruk, eboy nyaltaikedi maruk, and it is really tasty. That is a delicacy that is only found during the months of June. The rains have increased, and there is actually, it's in abundance. And our grandparents, I remember my grandmother would pick this emarikit, and then she would dry it, and then it was actually kept for some time, like 2 weeks. When people are enjoying this emarikit, they would collect it around Antigos. And the next month is the month of Omodoko Kingol. Omodoko Kingol, which is July. In the month of Omodoko Kingol, Imodokasi Kingola, Imodokasi Dwe. What does this mean? It is a time for eating. People are feasting. People are harvesting. Ilele basi sofurian. And you really see the Imodokara Kingol. Food is in plenty. There is no point in maybe mambo bitungi pede lasi emoni kino situnga imodoka sakingolea. People are harvesting food. And in the month of August, now month of August is known kapenat oloja arabonat otikoik. Do you know what otikoik means in my language? It means a big stomach. Arabonat epolakoik. What does this mean? People are eating to satisfaction. This is now the time when all foods are being harvested. Large harvest is being made. People eat to satisfaction. And previously in Teso, when you have that, you get apolojakoik. It means someone has eaten to their satisfaction. And in that month, people actually eat and they cannot even sit straight. People would actually sit like this due to satisfaction. Epolokitunga koikes. That's the month of Otikoik, and people are storing food. In the month of September, known as Otibar. In Otibar, this is a month now where the women are collecting people are collecting this thatching grass. Like now they are done harvesting. So kwane utasangora lostai ara nekola akuritai utasangor kwana aikonanya aingeranya anwaduki kaisluanya. And they are also building other houses. So that's why it's called as Otibar. People are rich, and Otibar is a month of food storage. And formerly in Teso, a man's wealth was measured by the standard of food he has, the amount of cattle he has. This was all before monetization came, and I miss those days because in those days everyone was working so hard. Everyone wanted to be rich, and anyone could be rich. Teso before monetization was such a rich homeland because everyone was farming and everyone was seeking for a bar. October, which is Ochoto Arabonat Osokosokoma. This is a period of construction that people in Teso are building. And do you want to know what the people in Teso would use for building? They would use clay. They would use like clay, or they would use elositungalu aiboka titipu. They get a matapalin plus the grass that the women collected, and they would build. In most cases, the women would make the atunuru araibonat, the hut, the upper part of the hut. They were artistic, and then the men would make the round formations of the house. They would build up the wall. So this was genuinely a community-based thing, and this all brings us that Ateso were very resourceful people. Itungalu Ateso were very resourceful. Daras Itungalu Amina Sasom Dori Check Tosi Ikese Nonoshon. Abune tono lap lo tomontado ejena kwape Osuban, which is November. In the month of Osuban, the people are celebrating. This is actually an auspicious time for holding these parties. Majority of the Tesos rituals or ceremonies were majorly carried out in the month of November, because by this time people are resting, they are done building, they are done harvesting, they are done doing everything. People would travel from this village to another village, and they would come together and share. This is a time when people would sit, I mata John lo chala jekda lo chala lo bwekino situngane pepe omoreta I mata kisa John from different villages. So this one was a period of togetherness, gracefulness, and hard work, teamwork. And then in the month of December, amwaniara kolong, it is known as Opo. Mwana kolong euta kolong aipo itunga quest. It is really so hot, and now the visitors, the guests that came for these parties in November have gone back to their places. What is left for the people to do? To hunt. The men go hunting in groups and they go and collect meat. But do you know why it's called Opo? Ebasicha ipakwes, ebasiche. Anara, in this period of the year, wildlife is plenty. Noi ajekoli itiangena baka ipo. It's around this period the hair was so common. So these people would go and they would come back with plenty of meat out of their hunting. So that's why that month is named Opo. Ebasicha ipakwes, ebasiche ipo. Konye all of them, eropo. Thank you for listening. My name is Apio Consolate Okiror Emuria Koliai. Eyala Manoi.